I was Naaman, the commander of Aram's mighty army. Men bowed at my presence. Kings called me valiant. My victories were sung in the streets, and my name echoed in the courts of my king. Yet behind the polished armor and the accolades, there was a disease I could not conquer. Leprosy. It began with a patch, a subtle discoloration of skin. I dismissed it at first, but soon it spread like a shadow over my body. The invincible Naaman, reduced to a leper. My soldiers feared to approach me. My family's embrace turned hesitant. I was a man of honor, but this sickness threatened to rob me of my dignity, my strength, my very life. Hope came from the most unlikely source. A young Hebrew girl, a servant in my household. She spoke of a prophet in Samaria, a man of God who could cure even this. Her words stirred something within me, a desperate flicker of faith. My king sent me with treasures and letters to the king of Israel, but when I arrived, I was met with outrage and suspicion. The king tore his robes, accusing me of seeking war. It was the prophet Elisha who summoned me, not with pomp, but with a simple messenger and a baffling command. Go and wash in the Jordan 7 times and your flesh will be restored. I was furious. Did this prophet not know who I was? I expected a grand gesture, prayers, rituals, or at least a touch of the prophet's hand. To bathe in the murky Jordan was an insult. Were not the rivers of Damascus superior? I turned to leave in anger, pride swelling like a tide in my chest. Then my servant spoke reason. My father, they said, if the prophet had told you to do something great, would you not have done it? How much more then, when he says, wash and be cleansed? Their words humbled me. With reluctant obedience, I descended into the Jordan. 7 times I submerged myself in its waters, each time shedding layers of my pride. On the 7th, I emerged transformed, my flesh restored like that of a young boy. But more than my body, my heart was healed. I returned to Elisha, declaring, now I know there is no God in all the earth but in Israel. Today, the story of my healing speaks to all who struggle with pride. How often do we reject God's simple commands, clinging to our self-sufficiency? My leprosy was not only a physical ailment, but a mirror of my inner condition, my pride and need for control. God's healing is still available, but it often requires humility, faith, and obedience. Like me, you may find that the path to wholeness lies not in grand gestures, but in simple acts of surrender. Will you take the plunge?